Alright, yo, what is up everybody? Joe Dobby here, back at it again with another deck profile for you today. And we are going to be going over my Cresgarurumon Craniamon deck. It's a very, I think, unconventional deck that a lot of people probably haven't come up with yet. But I've tested it out, and it's pretty good. It's... I came up with the theory of what if I could just build a wide board and then in one turn erase security. And it works. It works very well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the eggs. We're running 4 copies of Cresgarurumon. Cresgarurumon, if your Digimon has reboot, you get the extra 11k DP, and that's going to be really important for when you start swinging into your opponent's security and into other Digimon as well. So next is Sumimon. You're probably wondering why I'm not running one that gives you memory if you've got like a level 7 Digimon, and it's because I'm not running a level 7 Digimon. Sumimon will actually just give another 2000 DP boost while you have another Digimon in play with the same name, and because I want to go wide, I think this is the best way to take advantage of the board state, is just by going with Sumimon. Next up, we have got 4 copies of Toy Agumon. So your rookie that has reboot as an inheritable ability. It's great stacked on your blockers. It's great stacked on anything really, and it can really get your Metal Edamons going. For example, hint, I'm playing Metal Edamon in this deck. That said, we're going into our Gosumon, which is another level 3 blocker. This was a 4 of instantly because of the type of deck that this is going to be. And yeah, there you go. Blockers all day, and I'm so hyped about it. We've got 3 copies of Commandramon. Hagurumon doesn't really matter. Commandramon's just a little bit cooler. So Commandramon here is your 2-drop, puts your opponent at the least memory possible when you end your turn, particularly if you are like early on into the game and you just want to be able to drop something really quickly and gain a board advantage. That said, we've got 2 copies of Chumon. Chumon is a very necessary add in this deck, simply because this deck will have ways to gain memory through Joe and, stabilize your memory gains through Tai. So being able to take the most advantage out of that while punishing your opponent and preventing them from using things like Hammer Spark or anything else external to Tamers is a really good thing. And this, like these rookies, there's one I think in each color, and these rookies are the ones to really look out for and to at least have one of. I always stress to at least have one of. That said, going into level 4s, we're running 4 copies of Greymon. The jamming is imperative here because, like I said, guys, this deck wants to wipe security in one go. If your Digimon has reboot, it also gains jamming. Next, we gotta run the 4 copies of Guardramon. So there's been a lot of debate about how much Guardramon you should be running in your decks. And quite frankly, I found 4 to be a sweet spot. And the reason why I run 4 is because if you're running black, you're not drawing apart from... Typically, you're not drawing apart from Digivolving. And I think Guardramon offers that safe kind of like gap between your opponent and your security that buys you some time to get into your pieces. And I think Guardramon is just really great overall just because of that 7k boost. With Tai, it's 8k. Pretty much anything level 5 and under will have a hard time getting through it. So 4 copies of Guardramon there was a must. I can always Digivolve on top of that as well into something else, which is really cool. So running 3 copies of the security trigger Garurumon. So this Digimon is so strong, guys. It adds that extra body to the wall that you have already built or are trying to build. It just adds more pressure when your opponent swings into security, because its security effect is at the end of the battle. Essentially, you're playing Garurumon on the board. So it's really good. Getting into our level 5s here, we've got 4 copies of Andramon, your level 5 7k blocker here. Really great Digimon because, once again, it's a blocker. Once again, it's going to offer a wall that will really prevent your opponent from getting through your security until you get the pieces you need to win the game. Now, I am also running 4 copies of Edamon, and the reason why I'm running 4 copies of Edamon is really just because he's a blocker. His on deletion effect is great, but I'm only running 2 copies of Metal Edamon here, so I felt like, you know what? This Edamon is probably something I will Digivolve into Craniamon with, if I don't try to dig for that Metal Edamon. And there's situations where you're going to want to do one or the other, but that versatility is great, and the fact that it's also a blocker means I have 8 level 5 blockers for Cresgarurumon to just bring out and potentially hold out till I win the game, so that's really great. And last but not the least, for our level 5s, I'm only running 2 copies of Metal Greymon. And this is probably something that people have criticized about, like, oh dude, there's not enough Metal Greymon, could you do like 3 Edamon, 3 Metal Greymon? And I thought about it, and I still feel that there's more value in being able to just have a ton of blockers versus having that extra Metal Greymon. And the reason being is because I run an option in this deck called Beast Cyclone. And Beast Cyclone offers security attack +1 to any Digimon that has reboot or blocker. So because of that, I had to just run the 2 Metal Greymon. And honestly, I've yet to find myself in a situation where I need to run 3. And my favorite, because I love every single Garurumon in the game, Cresgarurumon. On Digivolution, you can actually reveal a top card of your deck for every Digimon that your opponent has on their board, and then you can play a level 5 or less. Yep, level 5 or less from among them into play without paying its cost. So it's a free level 5 blocker at best, and at worst, it's a rookie. You know, it's still a blocker potentially, Gotsumon. So it's a really, really good card. It's also 11k DP. 4 cost to play. It's a little bit up there in cost, but it doesn't really matter. I get the value out of it very, very well. Also, 4 is an awkward spot to put your opponent in, because if you have a tie out, you Digivolve into Crest, they're at 1. What are they going to do with 1 typically? Especially if you have a Chumon out. I'm running 3 copies of Craniamon here, which is an awesome, awesome card. This guy is a beast, guys. And in this deck, impenetrable wall, right? The only thing that could really take you out here is a Shine Greymon because it reduces your DP. I'm not playing Breath of the Gods. This is more of an aggressive... Ironically, this is an aggressive defensive type build where I don't want to run Breath of the Gods. I just want to build a board and then Beast Cyclone security out and win the game that way. So Craniamon, basically indestructible blockers, high DP, and really good Digimon there overall. So, yep, here it is. As I said, 2 copies of Metal Edamon. You've got your wall of blockers. You want to be able to get over your opponent's few blockers. So Metal Edamon's there. Also synergizes very well with Edamon's on deletion effect, where I reveal the top 5 cards of my deck. And if there is an Edamon that is level 6 there, I basically play it without paying its cost, which is an absolute beast of an effect. But I'm only running 2 copies here, so more often than not, I'm going to be inclined to Digivolve that Edamon into either one of these dudes. Most likely, it'll be the Craniamon will be the target for the Edamons. That said, I'm running 2 copies of Tai. Just makes each and every one of my Digimon much stronger and also offers good memory stabilization. So really, really good card there. 2 copies of Joe. Joe is absolutely broken. Much like Mimi is, Joe is absolutely broken. This card actually gains you a memory at the start of your turn if you have a single blocker out. So having 2 Joes and a Tai could actually put you up to 5. And honestly, 4 is all you need to get to Cresgarurumon and still have it be your turn. I.e., if you Digivolve into Crest with 4 memory, you're at 0. If you're lucky, you'll bring out an Andromon or a Metal Greymon or what have you, and then you can go straight into Craniamon, and all of a sudden, the only thing that your opponent can hard remove, apart from bounce effects, is the Crest or whatever else is on there. But your blockers are safe, so Joe is really, really good. And here it is, man! I pulled this off so many times. Guys, it's absolutely beastly that Beast Cyclone exists, pun intended. Like, this card is crazy, okay? For 3 cost, for the turn, all your Digimon with reboot and blocker will have security attack +1. So picture a wall where you have just 1 Cresgarurumon, 1 Andromon, and you know what? Throw in a Gotsumon in there for fun, right? That's just 3 Digimon. Technically, with Beast Cyclone, your Crest, your Andromon, and your Gotsumon can swing for 6 checks. that wipes out security entirely, right? It's really, really good of a card. And it's really the only option I'm playing apart from Atomic Ray. And the reason why I'm actually even running Atomic Ray is just for that X factor in security. I'm actually considering removing Atomic Ray entirely just to put another Beast Cyclone in, just because I think Beast Cyclone is just such a great card in a deck that runs a ton of Digimon. But yeah, Atomic Ray is the last card here, guys. Super strong security effect. Unsuspend all your Digimon with blocker and they gain plus 5,000 DP in the turn. Thus, going with the theme of just being an impenetrable wall of defense until you can get to your Beast Cyclone and actually smash through security and win the game. But guys, that said, this is the deck. I am loving it so far. It is a ton of fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. I honestly think Garurumon has to be played in black just because you're building a wall. If your opponent gets through somehow, swings into security, you actually get a body back that can go back up to an Andromon. So you get that recursion of your level 5 blockers there through the Garurumon, or it's an extra body that you could use to swing with for games. So that said, the synergy of this deck has been really, really great so far. I am loving it. It's super consistent because it only has 2, 4, 6, 7 non-Digimon cards. Everything else is a Digimon, guys. That's 43 cards in the deck that I can potentially utilize to win me the game. So with that said, guys, take care. Thank you for watching. If you like the stuff, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Like the video. If you don't like it, let me know in the comment section below. And I also stream on Twitch, link in the description. But long story short, if you go on Twitch and just type Joe Dobby, which is my YouTube name, you'll easily find me. Take care, guys, and peace. Bye.